You ever have that feeling, like you're on a treadmill chasing something that, deep down, will never truly satisfy you? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty profound idea that challenges our deepest ambitions, our attachments. The concept that this life we work so hard for might just be an illusion. Let's get right into it.
So let's just start with this. Just let this sink in for a second. Everything you're working for will be left behind. The career you're building, the status you're trying to earn, all the stuff you work for day in and day out. This perspective we're digging into today says that every single bit of it, no exceptions, gets left behind. It's a thought that kind of forces you to hit pause and question what you're really prioritizing right from the get-go.
And the key word for this whole conversation is dunya. Now, in Arabic, this word means a lot more than just the world. The root of the word is actually much deeper. It means something low, something temporary, something that passes in a flash. So it's not just describing a place, it's describing a quality, this feeling of a super brief, fleeting stopover.
Okay, so with that definition in our minds, let's explore this first big idea, this life as an illusion. I mean, if everything around us feels so solid, so real, how can it possibly be seen as something that's just, temporary?
This is such a beautiful analogy from the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It just captures the whole concept perfectly. Imagine you're on a really long journey. You stop under a tree for a bit of shade, a quick rest. You would never, ever mistake that spot for your final destination, right? You rest, and then you get back on your real journey. This life, this dunya, it's just that. It's that brief rest under the tree.
And this comparison, wow, it really gets to the heart of it all. On one side, you've got the dunya, a few moments, a test, a waiting room. And on the other side, you have the akhirah, the hereafter, forever, the final result, your real home. When you start framing your life this way, it doesn't just change your goals, it changes the value of literally everything you're going through right now.
But this brings up a really interesting question about happiness. If this world is just a temporary stop, what about all the fulfillment it seems to promise? Well, that leads us right into our next section, where we explore that exact paradox, the promise of emptiness. The Dunya makes some pretty big promises, doesn't it? It tells us, hey, if you can just get enough money, enough fame, find the perfect relationship, or get that high-status job, then you'll finally be happy and fulfilled. These are the goals society pushes us to chase, like relentlessly.
And yet, we hear these stories all the time. People who have achieved all of it, billionaires, famous celebrities, powerful leaders, and they still talk about feeling this deep, profound emptiness inside. It makes you wonder, right? If they basically won the game of dunya, why don't they feel like they've won?
And here's the spiritual answer, and it's brilliant. That emptiness is there because the human heart, it wasn't designed to find its ultimate fulfillment in temporary things. Its real purpose is to connect with something eternal, something much bigger than this world, to connect with God. Chasing the world to fill that void is like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. It's just never going to fit perfectly.
So, if that's true, why do we all get so caught up in the chase? Why is this illusion so convincing? That question brings us to the next piece of the puzzle, the great deception.
Here's the crucial point. The distractions aren't some kind of accident. This world is intentionally designed to be appealing, to grab our attention. I mean, think about modern life, the nonstop entertainment, social media, consumer culture. It's all built to keep us looking down here, to make us forget about our ultimate purpose. And when we get caught in that trap, we're making what this perspective would call a seriously dangerous trade. We're essentially swapping something of infinite value, our eternity, for the cheap thrill of a fleeting pleasure. It's like choosing a handful of candy over a treasure chest of gold. It sounds crazy, but we kind of do it on a small scale every single day. But here's the thing. This deception, this illusion, it doesn't last forever. There is one moment, one inevitable appointment that just shatters the whole thing. The moment that changes absolutely everything. Death. It's the one reality that no one can deny, no one can escape. It is the ultimate equalizer. It's the end of the test. And in that moment, the illusion of the dunya just dissolves. And right then, all the currency of this world becomes completely worthless. Your money can't buy you another second. Your fame, your followers, they vanish. Your job title, your status, it's all meaningless. In an instant, everything you chased is just stripped away. So, what's left when all of that is gone? Only your deeds. The good you did, the prayers you offered, the kindness you showed someone, that becomes the only currency that actually matters. So this naturally brings us to the other side of the coin. If this life is the illusion, then what's the reality? Let's talk about eternity, the true home.
I love this slide because it puts the two realities right next to each other. Everything that defines the dunya, that it's temporary, full of tests, full of distractions, is answered and resolved in the akhirah. You go from the chaos of the test to the clarity of the result, from a brief wait in a temporary room to finally arriving at your permanent home.
And to even begin to understand the scale of that reward, just think about this. Islamic tradition teaches that just one single moment of true bliss in paradise will be so powerful, so overwhelming, that it will completely erase the memory of every single hardship you ever faced in your entire life. That's the magnitude of what we're talking about. Now, I know this can all sound a bit overwhelming. Does it mean we're supposed to just abandon the world completely? No, absolutely not. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important section, finding the right balance, living for what lasts. This is such a crucial point to get right. Islam does not teach us to become monks. It's not saying quit your job, abandon your family. The message is all about priority and intention. Go ahead, work hard, but don't let your work make you miss your prayers. Enjoy the good things in life, but do it in a way that's good and lawful. And that last point is everything. Live in the world, but don't let the world live in your heart. So let's bring this all home. Remember all those worldly goals from the beginning? One day it all just ends. Everything you are chasing right now will come to a stop. And after everything has been left behind, you will stand before your Creator. Not with your family, not with your friends. Alone. Ready to give an account for the one thing you actually get to keep? Your deeds. And that leaves us with the one final defining question. It's really something for each of us to think about. When you look at your life, your choices, your priorities day to day, ask yourself, and be honest, are you living for this temporary world,